doing today, YouTube? D-Ski from D-Ski Grillz back with another cooking video. And today we'll be making smoked beef chuck roast on the barbecue grill. I'll show you the few ingredients we'll be using for this cook. This will be a low and slow cook. We'll cook around 225 to 250 degrees for roughly 5 to 6 hours. So let me show you what we're going to be doing today. What we have is beef broth that we'll use towards the last hour of the cook. We'll wrap these chuck roasts up, pour a little beef broth in to infuse it with some more beef flavor. We also have a rub that I haven't used yet called Holy Cow barbecue rub. This will be my first time using this. It looks like it's really peppery. It does have, looks like paprika and sugars and things in there. So this will be my first time giving this a shot. So I'll let you know how this turned out as well. And of course, the stars of the show, 2 3-pound Angus beef chuck roast. So this will be what we're doing. What we're going to start off with tonight is getting these chuck roasts prepped. So what I'll do is I'll season them. I'll put the rub on. We'll put them in the refrigerator overnight. Try to let that seasoning soak in to get some built-in flavor into these chuck roasts. So I'm looking at maybe 10 to 12 hours of them staying in the refrigerator. Then the next day we'll pop the grill on, get it up to that 225 to 250 range, get these things cooking. Hey, thanks for joining me as always, and let's get cooking.
Okay, YouTube, let's prep the chuck roast. So as you can see, I'm removing the packaging from the chuck roast, and I'm showing you now the beautiful marbling. This is going to make for a very succulent roast. So I'm rinsing them off right now, and the next thing I'm going to do is pat them dry, because you don't want them wet when you're adding the olive oil that you're going to see that we're doing next. So we're going to hit them now with olive oil, both of the roast, and then hit a heavy dose of the Holy Cow seasoning on the tops and the edges. So next thing we'll do is repeat the same process on the other side. So olive oil, hit it again with the Holy Cow, and then from there we will add them to the tray, and you'll see that. We'll add them to the tray, then wrap them in saran wrap, and the next step is let them sit there for 10 to 12 hours, and tomorrow we'll talk about the next steps. It'll be grilling time tomorrow.
Welcome back, YouTube. Day 2 of the smoked beef chuck roast video. So what I wanted to share with you is the results of our dry brine last night. So if you remember, we pretty much just rinsed the meat off. We put olive oil for our binder, and then we added the Holy Cow barbecue rub. So my first time using this rub, but I want you to see how the meat looks thus far. So it looks really good. It looks like it's ready to eat already. So again, the brining process used last night was about 16 hours. So after generously coating these 2 chuck roasts with the Holy Cow rub, I put it in the refrigerator, wrapped it in the cellophane wrap, and again, put it in the refrigerator for 16 hours. So next step is going to be 6 hours on the barbecue grill, low and slow, between 225 and 250 degrees. So next time you'll see these 2 chuck roasts on the grill, and from there we'll just follow it throughout the cooking process. Thanks for joining me again, and let's get cooking.
Okay, YouTube, let's check out the grill setup. So what we have now is pecan wood, and as you can see, the flame is going. We're doing a low and slow cook, so we're starting in the middle and let it come out until it reaches the wood and give us that long, slow burn. So now I'm adding the diffuser plate. From there, I'm adding a drip pan, and we will fill that drip pan up with water. So the reason for the water, of course, is to give that added moisture during the cook to help tenderize these chuck roasts. So that's what you see us doing now. Next step, we're going to add the grill grate, and after adding the grill grate, we will just close the lid on the grill and let it reach the desired temperature. So I'm looking for around 200 degrees on the thermometer, and that way I can set it in between the 225 and 250 during the cook. So that's what we're going to do. You'll see me close up the lid, and the next thing you see will be us reaching that temperature. Okay, YouTube, let's get cooking. We've reached the desired temperature of 200 degrees on our grill. As you can see, the smoke is starting to come out of the grill. And what we're going to do now is introduce these beautiful chuck roasts to the grill. So you can see how seasoned and just peppery they are. So looking forward to this cook to see how they turn out. I think they're going to be amazing. So what I'm doing now is adding the probe thermometer to one of the chuck roasts. What we're shooting for is an internal temperature to start with of 160 to 165 degrees. From there we'll take it out wrap them, and then add beef broth, and then we'll put them back to the grill. There's a big thumbs up. So next thing we'll do is let you see how these are coming on once we reach 160 degrees. Okay, YouTube, we're at the 4-hour mark. So you see the grill is sitting at about 250 degrees. Now check out the beautiful bark on these chuck roasts. So what we're going to do now, since we reached the 160 degrees, I'm going to remove the probe, and watch when I remove it. You can tell that it's still not tender, but we have developed the bark that we want for these chuck roasts. So what I'm going to do is remove the probe out of the one in the back. I'll show you the bark on this first one. You can see it's beautiful. So holy cow, it definitely makes an awesome bark. So I'm pulling this out. It's still stiff, as you can see, kind of hard to pull out, but that's okay. That's why we're going to do the wrapping and the beef broth process next to get the tenderization that we want. So there you go. It's coming along. So what I'm going to do now is close the grill up. We're going to go inside and show you the next step. Okay, YouTube, let's wrap the chuck roast. So what we're going to do now is actually lay foil out, and I showed you really quick the beef broth that we're going to add to this. So we're going to add 1 chuck roast and try to make more of a holder like for the beef broth to go in. I'm adding the beef broth now. Okay, we're going to wrap that up, and then we'll add even more foil to make sure that the beef broth doesn't leak through the foil. So I'm going heavy with the foil. And again, these roasts will go back to the grill and they'll cook until the internal temperature is 203 degrees. So from there, we will not be done. We will do the towel wrap, add it to a cooler, and let them sit for about an hour or two to continue cooking internally and getting even more tender. So that's what you see me doing again, adding beef broth, continuing to wrap and make sure everything is sealed so this beef broth can be infused as part of the flavor of this roast. So next thing you see after 2 hours will be us doing the towel wrap. Stay tuned. It's going to be a great cook. Okay, YouTube, almost there. It's towel wrap time. So what we're going to do is lay out our towel, grab one of the chuck roasts, and wrap it very well, as you see me doing. We're going to do the same thing to the other chuck roast. Now the reason behind this is from there we're going to put it in an insulated cooler and let it continue cooking internally, getting even more tender. So that is the reason behind this process and why I do it almost all the time on large cuts of meat. Very important process to get it to the right consistency that you want. Okay, YouTube, we are at the final step, and that step is adding the wrapped chuck roast to the insulated cooler and letting them rest between an hour or maybe 2 hours. Next step, you will see the final product. We will go to the cutting board and see how these awesome chuck roasts came out. I can't wait to cut into them and see how they did. Stay tuned, we're almost done. Okay, YouTube, let's check out our finished product. So what I'm doing now is removing both towels, and next thing we'll do is remove the foil from these beautiful chuck roasts. So once I get these chuck roasts out on the cutting board, I want you to check out how tender and amazing they turned out. Look at the bark on these chuck roasts. They are going to be delicious. So I'm going to cut into one of them and let you see the smoke ring we achieved also from this cook. So the chuck roast again took about 6 hours. We added beef broth, wrapped them, and let them rest for another 2 hours. If you like what we're doing here at D-Ski Grillz, please subscribe to my channel. Hit that like button. Let others know what D-Ski Grillz is up to. And as always, at D-Ski Grillz, grilling is not a pastime. It's a passion. You enjoy the rest of your day, YouTube. Thanks for joining me. Take care.